If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hello and welcome to Searching for Strange, the show where we deep dive your favorite internet mysteries. I'm your host, Asherz. I am joined this episode by legendary Jimothy Strange. Jimothy,
legendary in my own mind, but thank you. I am doing great, and I hope you are as well.
I am. I'm doing fantastic. I'm excited to talk about this topic. I think that this is, you chose a really good one. You chose this. I won't take credit. You picked this one.
I did. I did offer this one up.
You did. And so obviously this is a story that you're kind of familiar with. What's your history with it?
This is one I like to watch a lot of those iceberg kind of videos on YouTube. And this was one that I first heard of, maybe back in like 2018 or so, something like that. I was watching something and it was something along the lines of top 10 internet mysteries. Maybe it was like a Watch Mojo or, one of those kind of deals. But I saw it on there and it had kind of intrigued me, since the first time that I heard it, because it's one of those things that you've heard of, like sleep paralysis demons and all these things of people seeing the same thing, and just the thought of something like that, it really draws me in. I like the thought of that kind of stuff, like a collective unconscious all seeing the same thing. I love the thought of that. So it's intrigued me ever since.
Yeah, this one's it's not necessarily scary. It's disturbing is what it is. Because like you said, you've got the collective consciousness and it's like, well, what is that? Are we connected in some way? Is he conscious in some way? What's the deal with this man? So this man, I understand, where you're coming from about the icebergs and the Watch Mojo. Or God, I would try to watch Chills. I cannot. That was just one that I couldn't stomach. But this one's always kind of just been in the back, on the back burner here in my life. Something I've been familiar with, something I've come across, every so often. And I'll tell you, if you guys have not seen this man, if you are very new to this topic, or if you just want a refresher, just go to Google right now. Pull your phone out, go to Google while you're listening to this, and type in this man, and you'll see the image that we're going to discuss, which is largely what this is all based on. So, Jimotthy, do you want to go ahead and get into the history of this man and when this started?
Oh, yeah. So, back in 2009, there was a website that popped up, and it was called thisman.org, and it was supposed to be a place online to gather evidence for incidents that occurred where, people around the world dream of, quote, this man. And again, as Asher said, you pull up the Google search for this man, you'll see him. Apparently, according to this, a lot of people have been seeing it. And it's what you'll see usually. It's a wanted style poster. Like, think of like the 1800s and like the Pony Express office, like where the sheriff puts up the wanted thing. It's a sketch of it's a guy. He looks like a middle-aged guy, thinning hair, parted to the side. He's got really bushy eyebrows, wide set, dark eyes, a mouth kind of like the Mona Lisa. Like, he's not quite smiling, but he's also not just sitting there. It kind of looks like if you accidentally make eye contact with someone in public and you like kind of give them that like that half smile.
Yeah.
he definitely, if he had a mustache, I would say keep him away from every child ever. That's kind of what he looks like. He doesn't have a mustache and he still looks like that is the worst part of it.
Him not having a mustache makes him look creepier.
I can't even imagine him with the mustache. It's hard because he's just so burned into my brain as this face. He's just this man, So, and then under the picture, it says, "Ever dream this man? Every night throughout the world, hundreds of people dream about this face." And I gotta say, if I ever did dream about that face, I don't think I'd sleep again.
No.
Because
Yeah.
he's not a comforting looking fella.
No.
It is. I don't like it at all. But the website, it says that in January 2006 in New York, the patient of a well-known psychiatrist drew the face of a man that has been repeatedly appearing in her dreams. On more than one occasion, that man has given her advice on her private life, and she swears she's never met him. So the portrait apparently stayed on the psychiatrist's desk for a few days, and then another patient comes in and says, "Hey, I've seen that face. That man is always in my dreams." Which, one, I think that kind of violates HIPAA, maybe leaving patient files out, but we're not going to go there. We're not going to deviate. So he sends the picture, the psychiatrist. He sends it to some of his colleagues that specialize with patients and recurring dreams. And within a few months, 4 patients will recognize the man as a frequent presence in their own dreams. And all of the patients just refer to him as this man. So, and apparently, according to the website, it says between January 2006 and current day, it says until today, whenever this may have been updated, 8,000 people at least have claimed to have seen the man in their dreams. Cities all over the world: Los Angeles, Berlin, Sao Paulo, Tehran, Beijing, Rome, Barcelona, Stockholm, Paris, New Delhi, Moscow, etc. So it lists a lot of the big ones. Doesn't list a Bowling Green, Kentucky on there, but I assume there's got to be somebody there that's probably seen one here in our little podunk area. So, yeah. And apparently there's, according to this, there's no relation to the people who have dreamed, no common traits, no common threads. It's not like any of them have always worked here or have this name or have this genealogical lineage, nothing like that. It's just there. And it says no living man has ever been recognized as resembling this man. But the thing about that is that guy looks pretty milquetoast. He looks pretty plain.
Right? Yes.
I feel like I've seen people that do look exactly like that guy. For sure.
I agree with that. I think that him not having some type of resemblance to somebody is a whole nother mystery in and of itself. Because, honestly, I guess I've never really looked on the internet for one, and maybe I should have for this episode. But, like, you would think somebody on the internet would have been like, "Oh, my dad looks like this man," or "My uncle looks like this man," and nobody has.
Well, here's the cool thing about that. On the website, there are some pages with people. There are some that look like it. There are things where people have they've put their actual pictures and stuff up there and theories. There are maybe it wasn't on this website. Maybe it was somewhere else that I was looking when I was researching. But there were places of people posting that looked exactly like this man.
Oh, okay. So that does exist.
Yeah, there was something somewhere that I did see that it was out there, and it was like, no, that looks exactly like this guy. I'm sorry, this man.
Yeah, this man. Right. I hope that. I hope one day he comes forward and he's like, "That's my name, this man."
That's my name, this man. It's
the two words together, this man.
In Spanish, he's el hombre. So that's just.
He's like it's actually this man. That's.
He looks like he could be like a Joseph Thissman, like that.
Yeah.
He can easily be that.
Yeah, Thissman.
Again, he looks like somebody that I would not let drive a school bus, but that's. Again, I don't think he's story.
I don't think he's that bad, but that is the interesting thing about this man is that he is not somebody that, at least when this all started, right now it's been out for almost 20 years. Well, not really, but
15. We're going to 15. Yeah,
we'll say 15. But nobody knows him in real life, and that's the mystery of it, but everybody is dreaming about him. So it's not like this is a friend, a neighbor, a family member that people are seeing in their dreams. This is a totally separate guy who they have just kind of constructed in their brain. And one thing that I've always heard about people that you dream about is that you don't actually dream about people that you've never seen before.
Yeah, your brain can't construct new faces, so it makes dreams out of facial JPEGs in your brain of people you have seen on the street, strangers, things like that.
Hmm.
So that is
Yeah.
one thing I've heard as well.
And I don't know how accurate that is. I'm not a dream expert or anything, but as somebody that likes these topics, of course, dreams is something that we've talked about. I believe I actually did an episode. One of the earliest episodes on the Wednesday show was about sleeping, and it was, we kind of dug into a little bit. Anyway, so that's the anomaly behind this man, is that nobody knew who he was, and so there's this website that's out there constructed. Did he actually? Do you know if he actually, the creator of the website, if he went around and put flyers, like physical flyers up?
I don't know if he personally did, but they have definitely done that, because on the website there is a tab that says "In the World," and these are all photographs of places all over the world. Like the first three are Auckland, New Zealand; Austin, Texas; Barcelona in Spain; and Berlin, Germany, that are all like the flyers in their native languages there, that are posted up, and they've reposted the pictures of them actually out and about in the field. So whether the man who created the website did that, or if people just went ahead and printed the flyers out on their own and did it, I don't know. I'm not certain on that, but they're definitely out there for sure.
That would be really creepy to come across.
To come
Not,
across,
yeah,
actually,
not
it kind
knowing
of
the
makes
story. Yeah,
it makes me want to print one.
you
take
should.
it take it to like a local community bulletin board here.
Start hanging them up around town. Yeah, do it, because there are people that aren't familiar with the story, and then they would probably have. So what ended up happening is, with this website, there were people that were coming forward saying, "I've seen this man," and the encounters with the man have varied greatly. He's a good guy. He's a bad guy. He's indifferent. He'll give you the lottery numbers, whatever,
Yeah.
he could be anything. It just changes depending on the story. Some people have had, I think it's interesting, some people dream about having sex with him.
I've read a
That
lot of those experiences actually.
so weird. You know, I think that it's turned into some weird fanfic now. It's just people kind of just submitting those just cause. But yeah, it varies depending on the person. Some people have even come forward and said, "I am this man. This man is me," and they have tried to use it to sell things.
Of course, as
um,
capitalism does.
Exactly. Yeah, they're like, "I am this man, and I am a great healer. I'm a psychic medium. I'm a prophet." Whatever it is, they're trying to sell, and they're like, "Yeah, get in contact with me for $10,000 or whatever." Um, I'll interview you. I'll sit down with an interview for you for 10 grand. I don't know. But there was a lot of interest in this story. It really became a big thing. Um, what do you think about the cultural impact of the genuine people coming forward saying, "Hey, I've seen this man"?
See, I think that it's possible to see. I personally have never dreamed of this man. In the half decade that I've known about this man, I've never had a dream about him that I can recall. But I do feel like you could probably hear about this and then have a weird dream in the future. Like it could be like kind of a mind virus where it infects you and you dream about it. Or he's also got kind of one of those plainest looking faces ever. Like there's no specific details to him or anything. So you literally could just have a random weird dream and it could be like, wait, no, that was definitely what I dreamed about. Like there was just a weird man that was nondescript that said something weird in my dream. Like that, I could absolutely see that being a thing. Like that's not far-fetched at all.
Yeah, I agree. He's so nondescript. I barely remember my dreams now, you guys. Like, I'm not going to remember a dream from 10 years ago, 20 years ago. You know
Well,
what I mean? Like, it's,
I've
you
got a
know,
couple of them that I do, but they're far and few between.
far and few between, right? And this man was not in them.
No, he was not.
But just in general, I don't think, of course, I've had dreams of just nondescript humans that I didn't really see, and I remember those dreams really well. But if I were seeking answers, if I were somebody that subscribed to the idea of dreams being something significant, and I were seeking answers, and I came across something like this man, I could see how I would go, "Oh, you know what? I had this weird dream this one time, and this man was in it." Um, I don't know. What do we know about the creator of the website?
So the creator of the website is an Italian sociologist and a marketer named Andrea Nutella, not Nutella, which was in the whole time I was reading
That'd be
about this,
delicious.
I kept thinking Nutella, and it was just like a Pavlovian response, which
Yeah.
again, more psychology. It just made me mouthwatering the entire time. So he is an Italian sociologist and a marketing guy, which is why he came to make this great website. So he in court he gave this interview with Vice, and this interview with Vice is fantastic. They go in pretty in depth with him, because he said that it was the winter of 2008, and he dreamt of this man, and this man told him to create a website to try to find an answer for his appearance. So he says that he built the sketch using facial composite software. So he used, a 2008
AI.
app. Yes, essentially like a rudimentary, what we would consider rudimentary, today, builds an app like making the face. And he's like, okay, this is it. He sends it out to his friends and his coworkers, and he builds the website following the instructions that he got out of the dream. So they're asking him all kinds of stories, and he actually goes pretty in depth with all of them. He's giving very detailed answers, and he's covering all his bases there. So that's what we know about this guy. He's got his story down, and he's a sociologist, so he understands why people would think the way they do, and he's a marketing guy, so he knows how to put the word out there to make sure that other people know it as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he good on him for this. But as you can tell, the story has changed, right? So the initial claim was that this was from actual, patients who this man came from, and now
Yeah.
the man didn't come from them, but it came from him. Um, the the beginnings, the origin story of this man, I think, are not really that relevant. So this man, come to find out, is a hoax.
Womp
However,
womp womp.
however, that doesn't mean that it's not anomalous still. And this isn't something that we haven't seen before, in other areas of Strange. So, um, he genuinely has had huge outreach of people that claim to have seen this man.
Yes.
So, regardless of whether or not he just completely bullshitted the whole thing, regardless of whether or not the story with, him having the dream of him or not is true, it's probably not true. I think, well, I think he came out and had said, I think in like 2009 or something, that was bullshit. But, and then changed the story when Vice hit him up, because it's Vice, and I think they pay you for that stuff. So
Possibly. And again, they didn't do any research. They just
none.
saw the story, and they were like, oh, let's interview this guy. And he was just like, okay, I gotcha. You want a story? I'm going to tell you a story, Vice.
Right, sure.
And
Let's do it.
They literally got called out the day that they posted it and had to issue a retraction. They have left the article up with, at the very beginning of it, says, edit, we got hoaxed. That's on us, guys.
Yeah. Right. So, and that's Vice for you. They do have some really interesting stuff, but they, they're just pushing out stories. That's the way it works. But, still, so whether or not he completely made it up, because we found out later that he was a marketing specialist, we found out later that this was probably some type of viral move, and the why, we don't really know. Was it some type of just social experiment that he wanted to do on his own? Was it viral marketing for something to come that never happened? Some people think so. I think it was Grindhouse was supposed to make a movie about this man, and then they never did. And some people thought that maybe this was viral marketing for that movie. However, it seems to be the other way around. They bought the rights to it after it had already picked up steam.
Yeah.
Who knows what the real reason is of why he did it? But again, like I said, people still claim that they have seen this man, and what's up with that? Is it that they become familiar with it first and then they dream about them later, that makes sense. I mean, I don't think anybody questions that. Is it that they are replacing another entity in their dream with the face of this man and just hoping that is the connection? Or is it legitimate? Are people really seeing this guy in their dreams?
It's a really cool thought of all of that, because it's to me it's kind of, think about Slender Man. Slender Man is not based in reality. It was like an internet creepypasta that has real life ramifications. Like, think of those like girls that like attacked their friend because of Slender Man, and there's so many things that it's kind of a tulpa that's been created with it. Like, it's so many people, like the collective unconsciousness has kind of willed it into being. So even though this guy just made it up this one day and put it out there, it still happens. Like, there are legit reports of it, of these people having the dreams of this. And it's like, where did this guy actually get it? Did he think it up with his like brilliant marketing degree? Or maybe he did dream of it and thought, hey, this could be like a really good thing for me to make money off of. Like, it's one of those things that kind of brings up the question, like maybe he did actually dream it. Like, maybe that was a real thing. Or
yeah,
it's hard to say. On the website, though, it does have a theories tab, and it's, him being a sociologist, he's got the inside scoop on a lot of these. So it lists a couple of theories, like it's an archetype theory. One option is, according to Carl Jung's psychoanalytic theory, this man is an archetypal image belonging to the collective unconsciousness that could surface in times of hardship, like emotional development, dramatic changes in life, stressful circumstances, things like that. And he will come about and have something to say in particularly sensitive subjects. Or a religious theory that he could be essentially the form of God, which I think that if there's a God and he's going to come into my dreams, I was going to say he'd look a little bit cooler, but also maybe he doesn't want to look too cool because he doesn't want to like blow your brain up while you're dreaming. So he appears as the most boring man ever, so as not to warp our fragile little human minds. That could actually be a possibility. I'm more buying into that one, if anything else. Especially since he will give advice and things like that. So maybe that could be. That one sounds more likely to me than the collective unconscious, possibly. Then there's the Dream Surfer, where he's a Freddy Krueger.
Yes, he's Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, think he's like Freddy Krueger without. Well, again, I said keep him away from the kids, so there's your tie there. But he's not been set on fire recently. So in this, there's also the dream imitation theory. That is a scientific psychosociological theory that claims it's a phenomenon that's arisen casually and progressively developed by imitation. So basically, people get exposed to the phenomenon and they become impressed by it, that they start seeing the man in their dreams. I think that it probably is the actual real answer, is that all of a sudden these people have come forward because of this happening somewhere, someone talking about this, and it kind of spreading like a little virus, little snap here, little click a link here, little YouTube there. And somebody hears about it and they start seeing it. Again, it didn't happen to me, but I think that's because I was more intrigued by that being the thing rather than like, oh wow, not hearing about it thinking it was real, more like hearing about it thinking like, oh, that's really cool. So I think that could possibly be the actual thing to it. It's a lot of people. It's been willed into reality because of so many people thinking about it that it's spread and made an impression. So it's like similar to like a Mandela effect type thing, where it's so many people are hearing it, so they're all thinking the same thing.
Well, sleep paralysis is like that. Just knowing that sleep paralysis exists can trigger you to have a sleep paralysis event.
That's true. And there is a spot on here where you can sign a guest book on the website, and I did sign the guest book saying,
oh yeah,
that I that I hoped that he was I said, I don't know this man, but I respect this man. I said, my only wish is to take enough Benadryl to see this man to keep me safe from the Hat Man, as I surely believe they are sworn enemies.
You don't think they're best buds? You think they're enemies?
I don't know. Well, see, here's the thing. The Hat Man usually is a foreboding experience.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's
this
true.
man is either sexually arousing or filled with some sort of like great news to give you.
That's true.
I do think they could be cut from the same cloth, but I don't think they're from the same side of it. I think that I don't feel like they would get along.
It kind of hurts my feelings when you put it that way, that this man has never visited me. I am sad now.
Well, it's just one of those things. You've got to you put it out there, meditate on it before you go to bed tonight. Think about this man as you curl up in bed, and maybe he'll visit you in your sleep. Who knows?
But then I know it won't be legitimate. I'll be like, well, now because I know about it, it kind of ruins the fun of it.
I don't think so. I don't
think so.
No, heck no. I think actively trying to channel this man into appearing for a visit in your unconscious sleep, I think that's the purest thing of all. It's even better knowing that he would come. It's like you're having a birthday party and you've sent out the letters and you're just waiting for him to show up. And every night you go to sleep, it's your birthday all over again and he might show up. So I think it's a pure form of invitation to this man. I think it works. I think that would work perfectly.
I'm inviting this man to my birthday now. It's over. It's done. So here's something I want to bring up. This is weird. And it might be a little weird. So some of these listeners here may or may not listen to the other shows on the podcast, right? They might be here just for this man, and I don't blame you. But you know what this man reminds me of?
What?
It reminds me of the Men in Black.
Kind of.
I know that's. I know you're like, huh? What? So if we look at this man, okay, he is obviously okay. So full disclosure, I'm very Italian. I come from a very Italian family. He's obviously very Italian himself, and that makes sense. His creator is also very Italian. He's got very strong Italian features. If you go back, and for the people that are super into it, if you read the Mothman prophecies by John Keel, and you read about the Men in Black that were occurring at the time in and around Point Pleasant, West Virginia during the Mothman flap, the Men in Black were described as being very Italian looking.
Yeah, like olive skinned. Yeah.
Yeah. And, it kind of, it reminds me of that. Then when we look at like the dream encounters, this man, when he visits you in a dream, he doesn't talk. And so, but he does communicate messages to people. So he's communicating telepathically. And we have stories of people with the Men in Black that they're not speaking with their mouth.
Yep. And the phone calls of the people who, they would call them and say, we'll be at your house soon. And then they open the door and they're already on the front step.
Right.
And there's not cell phones back then.
Right. They have they have very supernatural type of powers, I guess. Just very similar stories, very similar encounters, except that this man shows up in your dreams and the Men in Black show up at your fucking house. So that's the difference. This man is maybe a psychic vampire and he can only come in when invited. I don't know. I'm not sure. But that was initially when I saw what he looked like, that's the first thing that popped in my head was Men in Black. That looks like a Men in Black, at least John Keel style Men in Black. And so, which is very kind of specific. That's not across the board in Men in Black history, but it is during that time in Men in Black history where we saw that. So interesting. I thought that was interesting. And then we also had another similar phenomena happening now in recent times. Have you heard of Loab?
Loab.
Loab. Loab. Loab.
I think I vaguely heard of that like a couple of years ago, maybe.
No, not a couple of years ago. It's very new. So you know how you talked about how this man was created with like the old school style, guerrilla style AI. So AI, when that really started, and really took off, we're kind of still in that mode, right? AI would consistently create this image of a woman over and over again, the same woman. and people didn't really understand why, and they would kind of play with the prompts to try to figure out what is it that's triggering this woman. At one point in time, somebody created an image with the woman and a word popped up, and it was lobe, Loab, and so they've named her Lobe.
Okay, yes. It wasn't a couple of years ago. It feels like it has been, but
I know, right?
no, I'm looking at it now. I do recall vaguely looking at this and being kind of creeped out and not looking back again.
Well, and initially, when I had seen how this man was, or the guy claims this man was created, I thought of that woman, and so I went and looked it up. And when this story first started kind of coming around, she is creepy looking. My first thought is, oh, that's bullshit. I'd see the headlines of it, and automatically, I'm like, whatever it is, there's some reasonable explanation. It's not real, whatever. And when I dug into it again, come to find out, there is no explanation, and this is something that's happening. Nobody knows why. Still, so that's I don't know. Now we have this man and we have this woman, I guess.
That sounds like a country song.
Yeah, this man and this woman, by the country hit band Lobe. Play that on your radio, Jimotthy.
I think AI music might not sound real. I don't know.
That's probably true. It'd just be dead silence because that's because this man doesn't talk. So
that's true. It would just you would hear the music. It just wouldn't be coming through the speakers.
Exactly. You could conceptualize it somehow. But yeah, so I thought that was an interesting tidbit, is that we're kind of seeing this resurgence of a similar phenomena, really. Not exactly the same still. She's not coming into anybody's dreams yet, hopefully. But I don't know. What do you think about that similarity?
There's a lot of those AI kind of websites too. That one's a really creepy one with the fact that it kept appearing. There are some of those, like there's a site that you can go to, like this person doesn't exist, and it generates a completely random image every time, and it's you don't even give it any prompts. You just generate an image, and every single time it generates a completely unique image with someone who does not exist. It takes a basic ear shape, eye shape, mouth, nose, hair, skin tone, all of that. So it's kind of like that, except if this is giving the same thing each time. I have used some AI generating apps that will generate something similar each time if I give it a prompt, and it won't even be what I want or anything, which apparently this one is not what they were wanting at all, but they kept getting this same thing. I have had that sort of a thing happen, but not as weird as Lobe.
Yeah, not as specific. Yeah, it is a weird. Well, and AI generated people are kind of a disturbing
every time.
It is crapshoot, but it is a very disturbing concept for us. Very much an uncanny valley situation where we like recognize it's got a human face. We know it's not human though.
Yeah,
and that's interesting that we know.
It's always a situation of count the fingers.
Always count the fingers
every time.
Even now when I'm out in public and I'm around real people, I'm counting the fingers. I'm like, is that what we've been overlooking this whole time?
Possibly. All the worst kind of weirdos. There are good weirdos, and then there's like some weirdos. So the deep voiced weirdos, those are the ones that you need to absolutely count the fingers. It also makes me think too, how many times did he try to generate the face for, assuming he's just making this up for marketing purposes? How many versions of this man did he generate before settling on this man?
Like there's this man prototypes.
Yeah, it's like all right, did he try like 3 or 4 and finally settled on the most boring one? That's what I really wonder.
That's a good question. You're right. Yeah, or he popped it open, he made it, and that was that. It was love at first sight.
One and done. I wonder if he's on Twitter. I'd like to ask him.
He might be on Twitter. That's a good idea. If you don't, I will. So we might do an update to the show.
We both should. That way he can tell that people are absolutely interested.
People are interested. You're right. The show, as the time that we're recording this isn't out yet. This won't be out for a couple months. We got a while. We could totally talk to this man and do an update, or the father of this man.
He would be like the opposite of Frankenstein,
right? Yeah.
So it's actually it's Frankenstein's monster. This is
right.
Nutella's man.
Nutella's man. The Nutella man.
Which, if I had an alternate ego superhero, that would be it.
You'd be Nutella man? Yeah.
I'd be Nutella man.
Yeah. You shoot Nutella from your hands. Cool. You can climb walls by oozing Nutella from your skin and sticking to the okay.
Never mind. I don't want to be Nutella man anymore.
Maybe I should make a this man. Obviously, I'm very creative. Yeah, it is an interesting phenomenon. Like I said, the fact that we recognize that AI generated humans aren't human, we know. Like something in us knows, and I think that same instinct is what happened with this man. It's just that at that time we didn't have, all these pictures on the internet of all these fake people.
Yeah.
Because I feel that, when I look at an AI generated person, I know it's not real.
It's something that just jumps out at you and you're like, this doesn't feel real.
Without the hands, right? I mean,
although some people will put filters on their pictures and it does get kind of confusing because it's like, this is you, but it's not.
Right. Is this you? Really? You don't look like that. Yeah, true. Very true. It does. It gets and people are uncomfortable with that too. We've seen that.
Yeah.
So I think that, again, that's something that's just inherently within us that we just, like, I don't know, recognize real,
I had read something once. It was more in like a passing meme or maybe a Tumblr post or something, but it said that the very fact that humans have this weird biological, like, spidey sense for noticing when something looks human but isn't. It says that why is that something that's left over in us from a time when we may have had to have? So it's like, yeah, that's kind of good, creepy food for thought.
It's the uncanny valley. That's what it is. Which is probably a whole episode for a whole other day. But I mean, it is in there, and so it's strange. But it's why we have pareidolia as well. We try to make faces out of things that aren't there. It's the same type of brain power that we're using. So that is interesting. I don't know. This man, he is the hoax that became real.
Yes, indeed.
We all wanted him. We all wanted it to happen. We made this happen, you guys. It's our fault. It's not Nutella's fault. It's our fault. And
not Nutella, that hazelnutty chocolatey goodness.
You're right. You leave Nutella alone. He put it out there and he created it, but clearly we wanted it to happen, and so we've fed the monster.
We've fed the tulpa. We've made it real.
Right, we've made it a reality, and so we can't blame anybody but ourselves. So as much as I would like to give you guys the comfort that this is completely a hoax and there's nothing to it, I'd be lying to you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Human psychology has taken over and made it real. So
you are now going to probably dream of this man after hearing this episode.
Please let us know if you do dream of this man legitimately. Absolutely, please.
Yes. Let us know. I would be interested in hearing that. The good news is that it's not scary. The bad news is he might have sex with you. So
I'd say, hey, that's bad news. Maybe depending on who you are. It depends, because there are some reports of it.
He's a good lover. Is that what you're trying to say?
That's what some of them saying. There's one that says One of the dreams on here reads, I've never had a homosexual relationship or even fantasies, but I dream about having sex with this man all the time. I must admit, he has a lot of imagination as he pleases me. Sometimes I wake up and discover I have had a nocturnal emission. That's one of the ones that the website has posted, not some rando has written on the guest book. That's from the website itself. So that is purported evidence of one of the dreams. So good luck to you. I'm rolling those dice myself, but
is it hot in here? Is it just me? My God, this man.
Just rub those bushy eyebrows up on me, sir.
Right. Something about this man. All of a sudden, I'm very sexually attracted to this man. I don't know.
It's this man and injured cold for you. That's it.
Yeah, that's what it is. So all nondescript, very normal looking men
with weird smiles. Yes,
with weird smiles. Yeah, and olive skin. Apparently,
you've got a type. It seems.
Yeah, that's true. No, I'm excited. I hope that people do. I hope you guys do have dreams about this man. I hope that he gives you great news. I hope he gives you great orgasms. I hope I hope he gives you everything that you've ever wanted. Because it sounds like he's just here to please, and I don't hate that at all. That's fine. This man can be real. That's fine.
Yes.
And I also dream of a day that he fights the Hat Man to the death. Right. So
I see. Can they fight to the death, or is it like some Viking thing where, you've got the wolf chasing the other wolf and the moon and the sun, and it just goes around night by night? I think it's an eternal battle until maybe some mental Ragnarok happens between the Hat Man and this man. Who knows?
Someone should make it into a comic book series.
I'd read that. Yeah.
And they're just constantly going at it. Yeah. Anyway, any final thoughts about this man?
I open myself to this man, and I do invite him into my dreams tonight and every night going forward. And I'll report back if I have a visitation.
I would say amen, but I'm going to say this man.
This man.
This man. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, again, update us if you have dreams about this man. Let us know. You can follow myself and Jimotthy and the links below here. And then we'll see you guys back here on the next episode.
Sleep tight.